If you have an account, you can do both merchant fulfilled and FBA. The issue is, how is the item listed? So at the time you create the listing, that's where you determine whether you're going to fulfill it yourself or is Amazon going to do it. And some of you guys have heard me. I'll take an item, and at the time I list it, I'll create one FBA and I'll create another FBM on the same item. There's nothing you need to do with your account. The only thing you need to do, if you're going to do merchant fulfilled, number one, you need to make sure you're going to be able to make a profit, and you have to be good at estimating the furthest place that you could possibly ship, because that's where you're going to end up. It never fails. So if you know you're shipping, if you can make money going to the furthest zone that you're going to possibly ship to, then the next thing, you need to be equipped. You need to have your scales, your tape, your boxes, your packing materials, anything for bundling, anything for polybagging, bubble wrapping. If you have all of that together, I do it all the time.
Merchant fulfilling versus Amazon FBA, or we could reword that. When should you merchant fulfill? When should you go FBA? As you can see from the clip leading in, that's what this video is going to be about. And we'll get into it. But if you're selling on Amazon, and around here we talk arbitrage, you need to be considering maybe doing merchant fulfilled versus FBA, or the other way around. But the point is, you're going to want to evaluate that, because it could mean more money for you or other factors to your benefit that we're going to talk about. And stick around and watch the video, because as you can see, I actually got the idea from a live call that we had, and we're going to talk all about that. So stick around. We're going to get into it right now. This is what to sell on Amazon. I'm Horace. Let's go. Okay, hustlers, thank you for taking your precious time to spend with me today. My name is Horace, also known as La Machine, and this is what to sell on Amazon, where we talk all things arbitrage, both retail and online. So if that's something you're interested in, why don't you go ahead and subscribe to the channel? Do it right now. Hit the bell notification. That way you don't miss anything. It's absolutely free. And by hitting the bell notification, you won't miss out. So as I said in the intro, this video is going to be about merchant fulfilling versus FBA. That may be something that you're not even really considering. You know, and one of the hustlers on a live call, we're going to get to that. We're actually going to show a clip of that, so hang around, guys. But one of the hustlers brought it to my attention that it would be a great idea to actually do a video to help the community and get them to thinking about whether or not they should be merchant fulfilling. I want to give credit where credit is due. The lovely Miss Karen is the one that that gave me the idea to do it. As a matter of fact, I tell you what, without me doing all the yapping, let's go right to her clip, because she's so articulate, she's so informative, and I want you guys to enjoy and benefit from what she had to say. So Jim, take us over there.
So
okay,
Horace,
go ahead.
Go ahead, Karen.
Oh, I was going to say, you know, that would be a great video. Oftentimes in your videos, you are teaching us what your thought process is. Mm-hmm. And I think the thought process involved in, I mean, there's good reason to list MFN and FBA. Okay, that's one thing. But then sometimes we're so excited as new sellers about the ability to send things into FBA. Mm-hmm. that we don't really even take the time to look at, would it be more profitable to do fulfilled by merchant or to send it in? Right. And for newbies, you know, especially things that are under £1, you can almost always do pretty well with things that are under £1 with merchant fulfilled. Yeah, I'm not saying that you should always do it, mm-hmm. but because the shipping is, you know, can be so complicated, generally speaking, I find that if it's under a pound, you might be able to do fine with merchant fulfilled. That's not to say that you shouldn't also or perhaps do FBA. But my point is a video that kind of walks people through assessing whether the best move would likely be merchant fulfilled or FBA could be a big help, because there's a real thought process. And I really found myself getting caught up in just trying to ship off everything to FBA. Well, wait a minute. That's not always the best way to do it.
Right. You're absolutely right. And you've heard me say, a lot of us when we come into this, we're basically being sold on the whole notion that you don't have to do it. So that we don't even consider, like you said, we don't even consider whether or not. So, yeah, I think.
Know your shipping.
Another thing is, you sort of touched on, a lot of people are intimidated by having to ship themselves because they think it's complicated. Which carrier are you going to use? And I can show them just how simple it really is. There's nothing really hard about it, but you do need to have supplies. You know, you will have to invest if you're going to go that route on a regular basis. So,
okay, guys, so there you have it. And once again, I want to thank the lovely Miss Karen for sharing that. And yeah, so here's the thing. I think when it comes to FBA versus merchant fulfill, there's a couple of things going on. Number one, people are coming into arbitrage not even thinking about merchant fulfill, because think about it. When most of us get sold on the idea, when we're introduced to selling on Amazon, the advantage, one of the big selling points, and the thing that we get excited about is, hey, Amazon's going to do everything for you. If you send your inventory in, you don't have to worry. You can be a big boss and you can focus on sourcing, and you don't have to do all this and that, you know. So, you know, at the time they're being introduced to selling on Amazon, they're not even evaluating which one is better. They just by default go right to FBA, and Karen kind of brought that out. So that's number one. Another thing is, a lot of people may think that it's a daunting task to get into shipping yourself, because now you got to think about, in addition to having the supplies and understanding how to pack a box properly, you have to think, okay, what are the rates? Who am I going to use? What are the different classes of mail? And they just think that it's too much. Now, I'm not going to get into all of that in this video. That would be a little bit too much. So we'll probably unpack that on another video where we can talk about how to actually do it, what supplies you're going to need, what are the different classes, whether it's UPS and you're talking next day versus 3-day versus ground, or if we're talking regular mail and we're talking first class versus parcel post versus priority, whatever it may be, we'll do that then. But the thing is this, because on this channel we focus on newbies. When it comes to newbies, and I'm reading some notes here, when you're evaluating, it basically boils down to profit. Not always, though. We're going to cover some other things. It's not always about profit, but generally speaking, it boils down to profit. And it may be more important to make money in the beginning, okay, as Karen was saying, because you want to try and reinvest into the business. And the more money you make, the more money you get to keep, the more you can reinvest into the business. She mentioned that if the item is under a pound, a lot of times you're going to do better. That may not always be the case. I don't think I was able to find an example for you of that. But when you start doing the evaluations, inevitably you're going to come across situations where you actually make more money. It just depends. So you need to take a moment to do it. That way, you know for yourself, are you making the best decision? And I'm going to tell you something else. A lot of people think that FBA always wins the buy box. That's not necessarily true. Some of you hustlers, leave some comments if you've been noticing, because I have, and I do merchant fulfill. I sometimes have the buy box. Sometimes when you're doing your research, haven't you seen it where the buy box is being controlled by a merchant fulfilled? Uh, we need to study that. We need to study that. It's been brought out that Amazon is so dynamic, it can serve up a certain situation based on the individual. Okay, for example, you may be looking at a product, you as an Amazon shopper, you may be looking at a product. Amazon knows your location and they may show you someone controlling the buy box that is merchant fulfilled because they're closer to you. So you have to think about things like that. And of course, leave a comment if you know anything about that. So let's look at some of the things that I evaluate. We're gonna talk about 4 things. Number 1, we sort of touched on, that's going to be profit. You're looking at merchant fulfilled versus FBA to see which one is going to make you the most profit. Number 2, think about the season. And I want some hustlers to weigh in on this. Of course, we're going to look at Q4 because that's an easy one. But a lot of times, you have to understand, if you've heard me talk in other videos, there is a time factor involved with this. If you're going to do FBA, from the time you receive the product to the time you prep the product, to the time you have an order, a shipment big enough to justify the cost, to the time it takes for the carrier to get it to the various warehouses, to the time Amazon finally gets around to inventorying it, to the time Amazon decides, oh, we're going to send some more over here, we're going to send some over there, to the time it's actually available to sell. Okay, when it's available to sell to the customer, a lot of time can elapse. So when you get into Q4, you're going to run out of time. Let's say you're trying to get your inventory in, you're trying to get inventory sold for Christmas. You're not, at some point, there's a cutoff point. You can no longer send it in and expect it to be available in time for someone shopping for Christmas. So that's an example. That's one example where merchant fulfill would be a good thing because of the season. And it could be anything else. Any other holiday where you're too tight in terms of time to be able to get the product into the warehouse quick enough and have it available for when that customer wants it in time for that holiday. It could be, we just had Father's Day, we just had Mother's Day, it could be Valentine's Day, whatever the holiday is, that's a reason. Then there's a time where merchant fulfill is going to be better, just depending on the type of product it is. You might find it easier with certain items for different reasons, where it's just better to go merchant fulfill. I sell a lot of food items, particularly snack food. A lot of times I'm going to lose the time it takes for Amazon to prep the product. We're talking about expiration dates. It's quicker for me to just merchant fulfill it. That gives me more time to work with, and I can do it quicker. I can get it to the customer quicker because as soon as the customer orders, it's out the door. So now time is ticking on expiration dates, and I don't have to worry about, okay, how long is Amazon sitting on this, and I'm losing time. So that's just an example. The type of product could affect whether or not it's a better deal to go merchant fulfill over FBA. Another thing that's very, very quick, very, very important, I meant to say, you can be looking at a product and everything is great. Now, I want the hustlers to weigh in on this because this is so important. We're looking at doing FBA. So we're looking at the price of all of the FBA, merchants. And we're assuming that price is going to stay the same by the time we send it in. We like to live in this world where we think we're the only ones sourcing that particular product at that particular time. When you got, what do you got? Over 3 million people selling on Amazon, and a whole bunch of those are doing arbitrage just like you. They're looking at these products just like you are. You're not the only one. So again, I'm saying, I want the hustlers to weigh in. If you have experience, share with the community for their benefit so that they have a realistic expectation, so that they understand how this works. Okay, this is important. By the time your product gets in, remember all that scenario I was kind of laying out with the time. That product, you may not get it for that price. You're looking at you're making an evaluation, you're looking at FBA versus merchant fulfilled, and you're assuming that you're going to be able to sell it at that FBA price. When you got a bunch of people that may jump on it and tank it, you see what I'm saying? Maybe you're the type, hey, if they tank it, I'll just wait it out. Because if you wait it out, then eventually you'll get your price. But now you had to wait. Now you had to take the wait. What is the cost of that wait time? Well, I don't know. It may take 2 months. It may take 3 months. Now you're paying storage. Now you have the loss of use of your capital. Because if you're going to wait, that's great. That's great. And now that your money is tied up in that inventory until you sell it. Maybe that's okay for you. Maybe it's not. Maybe you want that money quicker so that you would say, you know what? I just walked into Walmart. I just sourced these headphones. I'm going to list them right now. And by the time I get home, sometimes, again, hustlers, leave a comment. If it's happened to you, by the time you even get to the parking lot, it's already sold. You've made that money. Instead of talking about what I might get and what I expect to get and what the law of averages, and by the time my product is ready to go FBA, you gone. You done sold this, got that paper, and you gone. That's different. That's different. So these are things that you have to consider. Now, what we're going to do now, we're going to take a look at a couple of examples just to kind of show you, some real life situations of how it pans out. It may not be the best example, but it's going to show you how to do it and make your own evaluation. So let's take a look. All right, so let's move on over. And what you're gonna see now, in addition to like 50 screens open, sorry about that, guys. Guys, around here, all roads lead to tactical arbitrage. So how do I find these products on tactical arbitrage? We got a bunch of videos on that. We'll talk about that later, but here's the point. Here's a spatula from Farberware that you could have gotten at Ace Hardware. You can't get it now, but $4.99. At that time, it was at buy boxing for $14.05. You could have grossed like $4.32, an 85% return on investment, whatever. So let's take a look at that. Okay, so if this is the product right now on Amazon, and I'm going to come over to my inventory lab. That's what I use to make my evaluations. We have Jim, show them the link or show them a little screenshot there. We just did a video on Inventory Lab last week if you want to get into that. But the point is, Inventory Lab has a feature that they allow you to see what you're going to pay. And right here, let me highlight. Never mind, I'll do that later because I'm not even going. Well, you know what? Let me do it. Hold on. Okay, I wanted to highlight my cursor. That way you can follow along. Right here, you can toggle between merchant fulfilled and FBA. Okay, so with FBA, and this isn't including any tax or nothing, but we said right now it's listing for it's at 1208. So if you did it like that, FBA, you'd profit 257. That's a like 52% return on investment. Now over here, you pay $4.99. You make the $4.99 back plus $1.79. This is merchant fulfilled, and this is estimating your shipping at $3.49. And how did I get that? What I did was, because you got to be able to estimate. What I did was I took, 4 ounces, for example. Follow me on this. If you come down on a product and you see 3.2 ounces in the information, that's how I came up with 4 ounces, because you got to round up. And it's going to cost $3.49 to the furthest to the furthest point. Like right here, I'm on the East Coast, so anywhere to California is going to be the furthest, and that's going to happen, guys. You're going to end up with having to ship far. So that's how I came up with that estimate. And so here's what I'm looking at. If I can get the price of $12.08, that's great. But again, like I said, that may not be if you can get 36% return on investment, that's still not bad. You know, this is just an example of a small item. You can find products certainly that do much better. But my point is, this is being able to estimate is huge. Okay. If we come back to tactical arbitrage, there was another product. Yeah. So here we go again. With that software, this was a product that you could have gotten at Walmart for whatever, 13 bucks. And at this time it was selling for $34.99. So here's that. It was a set of tumblers, blah, blah, blah. You could have got it for 13. Of course, you got to pay tax. And if you come over, you can see it's no longer available at Walmart. It's no longer even being sold on Amazon. If you could find it, you do great. How do we know that? Because if we look at the Keeper chart, somebody had it back, I guess, all the way up until, say, June 13th, and they were selling it for 50 bucks. Now look at, let's look at the weight on that. Again, we'll come down to the description. We'll look at the weight. We got to round that up to 3 pounds, okay? And here we go again. So we're talking 3 pounds. I would ship it UPS ground because that's cheaper, but at 3 pounds, that's going to cost me $12.65. And again, this is going to California, okay? So again, we'll stick that in to inventory lab. So we're talking $12.65. Merchant fulfilled, we make $16.86. That's almost 130% return on investment. Now, if we toggle over, okay, then let's double check that. Well, it would have been, I think we said like 13. Yes. So same thing, $12.99, 13, close enough. So we would do 2366, and that's 182% return on investment. So let's see. So in this case, well, no, we got that wrong. We gotta put the right cost of shipping in there, right? We said $12.65. Okay, so you're talking, instead of 182% return on investment, you're going to walk with a 130% return on investment. That's still not bad. And here we go again, guys. This is assuming that if you win FBA, you would get the product sold as quick as you like, because you're trying to get that money turned around, and you're not going to have 15 other people jump on it and tank the price. So that was just a little something to show you how to do the evaluation. You know, we'll come back to it again. We're going to revisit this, but yeah, again, leave some comments on that. If you've had some, if you're making evaluations, if you have situations where, you know, sometimes you go FBA, sometimes you go merchant fulfilled, or like you heard me say in the very, very beginning, I'll take a listing and I'll list 2. You can do that. Have 1 FBA, 1 merchant fulfilled. You ever see any sellers doing that and say to yourself, what is the deal here? Well, you know, there's different reasons, and sometimes both can be good. So with that in mind, there's a couple of things I want you to hang around for, because this is important. As I mentioned before, all roads lead to tactical arbitrage around here. And we would love to see you be able to source products as I do. And so to be able to do that with tactical arbitrage, you need to know how to use the software. So we have some courses right here on this channel. We have the Lightning course. We have the Lightning course part 1.1. We've got the Lightning course part 2. Take those, and the benefit that you'll have is when you try the 10-day free trial, because if you use my affiliate link down in the description, then instead of 7 days, you'll get 10 days of a free trial. But we want to make sure you know how to use the software. So each of those are maybe 10 minutes, and in that little bit of time, you'll know how to get your searches going. That way you're making money That way you're making money while you have your free trial. What you don't want to be fumbling around and losing time. You don't want to lose any time during your free trial trying to learn the software. What you want to be doing, because the bottom line is this: the software, you need to be running it. You need to be doing searches. Okay, so how quick can you get a search going so that you can make your money? You can already have the money. The software could be paying for itself. By the time your free trial is up, you're already gone. Okay, you done paid for it, and you're always ahead at that point. Remember, guys, you already know if you follow the channel. Software, tools, that it means nothing if you don't know how to use them. For what purpose? For the purpose of evaluating whether or not you have a product that you can make a profit with. There are certain things you need to consider. We got a couple of videos that we put out for your benefit to help you determine what is a good product. There's 2 videos, Jim show them the 7 steps to evaluating whether or not you can make money on a product. One more thing, very, very important, guys, very, very important. If you want to connect with me, you can do it. Text the words working class hustler to the number on your screen. And with that, you'll get a response. We'll get you saved into my contacts. And from there, you'll be able to ask me those quick questions. That's very important, hustlers. So if you have used that, if you have texted the words working class hustler, and if I've helped you in any way, leave a comment and let the other people know this is real. This is important because you got people, and maybe you're one of them. You've spent $500, you've spent $750, you've spent $1,000, and you can never pick up the phone and call the person that sold you that course for $500, for $750, for $1,000, all that money, but you can't reach them. You know what you do? Call me. But I'm going to tell you guys, let me give you a heads up. Let me give you a heads up. This month, we're in July now, we're coming out with my second course. I've had a course out. It's up on Udemy. It's very, very basic, very, very bare bones. We've come out, me and Jim, we've got a course that's coming out this month that's so much robust. And what you got to understand is I'm going to have to serve those people who have invested. So now is the time if you want to connect with me, because once we're connected for life. In the future, I may not be able, I'm only one guy. You guys know I work a regular job as a truck driver. So think about that. How much longer am I going to be able to give myself away the way I do? Okay, now is the time if you want to connect, because things are going to change. It's going to have to, because I have to make myself available. And guys, if you follow this channel, I've been out since 2017. And for all of that time, I have given. And things are going to have to change, because at some point, I'm going to have to pivot towards those who really want to invest. Okay. I love serving the guy that just wants information. That's why I've done it since 2017. So it's not just talk. Go back. Why have I been doing this? Spending my time, my money, my effort, my energy, because I love helping people. But at some point, someone deserves all of me, because they're willing to actually invest. So I'm telling you now, get in, get grandfathered. From there, it's going to be different. Okay. All right, guys, I got to run because I got to finish prepping somebody's shipment. I ain't going to say no names, Tiago. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Out of here.